Welcome to All in Adams, the official podcast of Adams County government, where we're all in for our residents, our employees, and our community. So whether you live here, work here, or you just want to know more about what makes Adams County a great place to be, thanks for tuning in. We're all in Adams.
Welcome back to All in Adams. I'm Nikki Wellander, and I'm the press secretary for Adams County, and I will be your host for today's episode that hits right at home for so many people in our community. August is Child Support Awareness Month, and we're taking some time to highlight the incredibly important and often unseen work that happens to support families and children in our community. Today, I'm joined by Bernadette Ebert, a child support case manager with Adams County Human Services, and with Jeremy Sawyer, a child support administrator. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I've never been on a podcast before, but I've always wanted to. So
well,
this is awesome.
You get your chance today. I'm so excited to have you both here today.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's start off with just some level setting. Why is child support such an important piece of human services work here in Adams County?
Yeah, that's a huge question. Really looking at why child support is important for our community is it allows families to have an additional amount of income coming in and gives families opportunities that they may not have if they were not receiving that child support from a non-custodial parent. When we do that, we also allow families to be moving out of poverty and into different circumstances that their families may not have been able to get to without this additional funds. And we know that there can be a correlation sometimes between poverty and child abuse and neglect. And so by doing this, we're hopefully being able to mitigate some of the other down the road impacts for these families that they may have had if we were not able to help make sure that they were receiving that money from the non-custodial parent.
Yeah, it's the difference between struggle and stability for a lot of families.
And tell me a little bit more about that. Tell me how child support does create that stability and opportunity for kids here right in Adams County.
So when child support is consistent, like I was saying, it really is the difference between struggle and stability. For a lot of families, it enables different things like housing, food, school supplies, and without it, those things just might not be possible for families. And it's really important to have that consistency.
And we also know that it can be difficult for families within a single household income. And so being able to receive that on a regular and reoccurring basis that that you can trust that it will be there, it gives that comfort and that fear-reducing piece for our families. And so then they're able to really focus on growth and living rather than that fear of I've just got to get by and I'm doing everything and I'm scraping. And we're able to go and have those fun opportunities maybe because we have that additional income coming in.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Those things that enrich a child's life, right?
100%. So for people who may not fully understand, how would you describe what a child support case manager does, Bernadette?
Okay, so we are more of an advocate, right? We are problem solvers, we're connectors, and that piece is really important to helping someone navigate the system they may not know. It can be really overwhelming, it can be frustrating, emotional, and so we're there to basically be like, a guiding hand in their lives, and that's very important.
Absolutely. And I want to pause for just a second because I realize that child support can be a tough topic for a lot of families to talk about, especially families that are going through it. So for somebody who's listening right now and maybe is just kind of holding their breath or is a little bit tense, what would you say to them?
I would say I've been there. I know from personal experience. I know, and I work both sides. I see both sides of it, the professional and the personal piece. And, the best thing I can say is to hang in there, and just realize you're not alone. You're not alone. And that's why our job is so important, to help parents and guide them through that process.
I'm really glad that you brought up that you've seen all sides of this issue. Let's talk a little bit about you and about your story. Tell me how you came to do this work and why.
Yeah, so personally, I've been through a divorce, and I have 4 boys. So I am now a single mom to 4 amazing, wild, hilarious boys, and they're my life. And so I know what it's like to go without it and to need that stability and consistently. It's very important. And, I took what was the hardest time in my life, the hardest thing I've ever been through, and I turned it into a career. And that's something that I'm really proud of. And I hope that my personal testimony can, lift others up and be inspirational to people.
What has it been like? What has that road been like to take the most difficult time in your life, as you said, and turn it into a career path that helps other people?
Honestly, it's been healing. It's been very healing. I took that pain and turned it into purpose and something meaningful. And I'm just so grateful for my journey that I've been on that's led me here. And like I said, it's what makes me so passionate about the work that I do.
With 4 boys in tow, you've been able to take that and make something gold out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very proud of that.
That's amazing. How do you feel that your experience then makes you a better advocate for the families that you serve?
Just because, like I said, I've been there. I know what it feels like to not feel seen or heard or understood. I know the frustration and the emotional toll that it can take. And so if I can be that difference, my team members, everybody that I work with, if we can be that difference in someone's life, and, that's what it's all about, helping them, guiding them through this process. It can be really isolating and overwhelming. And, that's what we're there for, is to make a difference and help them through it.
Absolutely. That's incredible. Thank you for being willing to share that. It's really brave of you. You have a pretty unique specialization in your work too. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I do intergovernmental work. I work cases where the non-custodial party either lives outside the state of Colorado or sometimes outside of the U.S. There are other countries that we have reciprocity with, and it's really awesome to be able to work with other government agencies to establish support, whether it be establishing an order or modifying an order or, just helping parents stay on track with their payments. It's awesome. It's really great. And it's a lot of navigating other state laws, countries' laws, their timelines. It can be frustrating at times, but honestly, it's also really rewarding too, to have somebody else back you up and be there to support you and get the job well done and get these families and children taken care of.
What led you to that specialization?
Honestly, my my boss, when I got hired on, she goes, "Well, how do you feel about dealing with other states?" And I said, "Well, I've never done that before, but why not? It sounds great." And I know a lot of people, it's not their thing. They're like, "Oh my goodness, I could never." But I actually really do enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. So she picked the right person for the job.
Bernadette, Jeremy, both of y'all, how long have you been working in this field?
Let's see, about 3 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been in human services in different capacities for almost 20 years.
Okay, amazing. So we've got almost a quarter of a century of experience on this couch right now. That's pretty incredible.
Yes.
That's pretty incredible. Quarter of a century of experience helping children and families. That's amazing. Thank you both so much for everything you've done for people here and for making a difference. So looking back to that first day on the job to now, what is the thing that surprises you the most that maybe you didn't expect and that now you're like, oh yeah, that is what it is?
I think for me, really kind of looking at it is you expect to have one story over and over again, but every family who comes in is with a different story and they have their own thing about them that makes them unique. And you may say, oh, I've heard this before, but really listening to the community members and about what they're going through and what their experience is, it's very enlightening and eye-opening of the different things that some of our families have experienced day in and day out. And just the strength and resiliency of some of these individuals that you hear some of these stories and it just breaks your heart and makes you want to sometimes give up. But yet they're standing there, they're fighting, they're trying to get what they need for their families. And it's just very encouraging to see sometimes our community come together and support those that are at the highest need.
Yeah, absolutely. It's navigating a lot of complex, family dynamics. And for me personally, I think it's the emotional side of things. Sure, we do emails and, legal processes and paperwork, and there's a lot of that. We definitely do that. But the human side of the job, it really, it's heavy sometimes. You're sitting with people, who are in tears sometimes and, going through the worst part of their lives. And you're there to guide them and see them through that. And, I think that connection matters. Being able to lead with empathy is really, really important. And I don't take that lightly. I think it's important to build trust and communication with these parents and these families. And the emotional side of it can be really big sometimes, but also very impactful.
So, as I mentioned at the top of the podcast, August is Child Support Awareness Month, and our Board of County Commissioners is going to be issuing a proclamation here at the start of the month to recognize the team in Human Services, to recognize the both of you and everybody that you work with for all of your hard work. So, congratulations to you guys for that. Tell me a little bit more about what it means to have an observance that is recognizing you and your work and your team, and why do we observe that here in Adams County?
I think, a lot of it is visibility, right? It's shining light on the team that is doing the hard work behind the scenes a lot of the time. And, it's really important to highlight the hard work that all of these people do. It's amazing.
Yeah, I really kind of look at it as like a twofold. One is to be able to educate the community and bring to light this awesome program and to make sure that folks know that it is a resource. Oftentimes it's seen as a topic that people don't want to talk about. It's seen as this negative light, but really our job here is to help, and we really want the best for every party that's involved within our cases. And the second part of it is really to celebrate these team members who do this hard work day in and day out. I'm excited as this will be my first proclamation with the child support team. And we've really talked about different areas and different things that we can do every single day to celebrate the hard work that they do, but also to bring to light the education and the recognition within the community of this awesome program and how much of a support it really is. And so this proclamation really gives us an opportunity to do that. We're hoping that a lot of our team will be there. We're going to be dressed up in green to really recognize the Child Support Awareness Month and for them to be recognized by the Board of County Commissioners. And again, for that to be at a public hearing so the community can see and hear this awesome resource as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very proud to be part of Adams County. I mean, we lead with compassion and fairness, and it's just a great place to be.
All right, so I'll make sure to wear my green. I'm always so excited for these proclamations. I work directly with the board, so I get to see all of them in action. And I'm so excited to get to be there to witness celebrating our teams and celebrating the incredible work that's happening and the impact that it's having on our community. So congratulations to both of you. And thank you so much for everything you're doing. Little bit of a thinker of a question for y'all now. Share with me, if you will, a moment where you saw the direct impact of the work that y'all do on a child's life.
I think really looking at it, like I said earlier, with experiencing different areas within human services and really being able to see those families. We talk about benefits, we talk about child support, and sometimes there's that negative connotation that goes along with it. But really what these families want is to be able to stand and thrive on their own. And that's what our job is. And sometimes they need help guiding the red tape, figuring out what resources are there. When you look at rule and you look at different things like that, it can be confusing for those that are doing it every single day because of the way that the rule is written. And so for us to be able to remove some of those barriers, it's awesome when you have a customer come in and just say, thank you. And they know you by name and they'll come in and ask for you because, oh, you were here last time and you were really able to help us at that point. And that was a great experience for us. And so just those little one-offs, or you get to build that relationship with a family, and then all of a sudden they're graduating 5th grade and you get to celebrate that with them and be like, that's awesome. And they really feel comfortable reaching out to you for the good and for the bad. That's when I know that we've made a difference in our community.
Yeah, absolutely. Personally speaking, I can think of a very specific case. It was December of last year. So, mind you, right before Christmas, right? And I had been working with a fellow government agency, and it had taken a really long time to get this case moving. And right before Christmas, we were able to collect a pretty substantial lump sum amount of support for a mom and her son. And I'll never forget when I called her to make sure that she had received it and everything was good. She just broke down crying. I mean, absolutely sobbing. And she goes, now I can give my kids the Christmas that they deserve. And it was huge in that moment. You know, I knew that this is why I do the work that I do. It means the most to know that I am making an impact in someone else's life. And it was a really special moment for sure. I was very happy for them. Yeah.
You've got me tearing up over here, and I'm trying really hard not to cry, but
yeah, there are days like that. Absolutely.
I'm sure that y'all have a lot of those moments every single day.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one thing that both of you wish that the community understood more about child support services, what would it be?
That we're not the bad guys. I feel like we get painted as the bad guys a lot of the time, but we're not. You know, it's our job to work with families, not against them. And it's not like we just serve one parent or the other. That's not how it is at all. We look at the situation as a whole, you know, the family, and how can we best serve them. And I just want people to know that we're here to help and to support, and hopefully, you know, leave them feeling more confident and supported than when they first walked in. So if that's the impact that we can leave behind, then, you know, it's a job well done.
How about you, Jeremy?
I don't think I could have said it any better than what Bernadette said, but really, we're a resource. We're able to answer some of those questions. And if there's roadblocks that are in the way, our job is to kind of help remove some of those roadblocks to make sure that we're helping everybody. And it's the family that we're looking at, like Bernadette said. And so coming in, just asking questions, being able to look at different opportunities for resources, that's what we're here for. We're not the bad guys. Like Bernadette said, I don't think I could have said it any better.
Bernadette, when you look at your own story and on your career so far and the families you've helped, what are you the proudest of?
I think I'm proudest of my resilience and my passion. You know, like I said, my personal testimony and everything that I've been through, it's what led me to the work that I do. And I think that heart being in it is really important. And I think it makes the biggest difference. Again, leading with empathy can really go a long way. So I think that's what I'm most proud of.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with us today. And thank you both for coming and being here. I'm going to ask you my hardest question, and that is, what did I miss? What else in everything that you do you want to share with us today?
We covered a lot of everything. So
Yeah,
thank you
we
for
sure
having
did.
us.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you both for being here. This has been an incredible conversation. For Bernadette Ebert and for Jeremy Sawyer, I am Nikki Wellander, and thank you so much for joining another episode of All in Adams.
That's a wrap for this episode of All in Adams. Thank you for joining us as we explore the people, programs, and the policies that make Adams County a great place to live, work, and thrive. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Have a topic you'd like us to cover? Let us know. We're all in for bringing you the stories that matter most. Until next time, take care of each other and stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, and X. We're all in Adams, and we're all in for you.